Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is once again Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. Well, you know what? I just can't make this stuff up. It is hard to believe that somebody would actually do this. That's right. You're seeing exactly what you're seeing. 489 cars stuck in 4 different chicken coops. I'm just going to let you sit and absorb that for a sec, because even I couldn't believe it. What kind of a genius comes up with the idea to just stick these cars in these chicken coops? Thought you're supposed to have chickens in them. Back then, these cars have been here for a long time. Shouldn't you have chickens in them? Nope. This guy was smart enough to say, you know what? Forget the chickens. I'm going to stick these old cars in here. Look at this. There was no rhyme to reason of what he did or what cars he collected. He just saw a car and he stuck it in the coop. No, from what I saw, there was no, I like this and I like that, I like Chargers and I like Cutlasses, whatever. It just seemed like when he got a car, he stuck it in there. And the craziest thing about these cars, if you really take a good look at them, and I repeat a few pictures just so you can take a look at them, there's like very little rust on any of these cars. They're all super solid. They're packed in there like sardines. They're like CUDA. It's just mind-blowing what this guy put in. I think that's a pool right there. But it's just mind-blowing what this guy stuck in this building. It was hard to get through the cars. They're stuck in there like sardines. But I mean, you do that. Look at that picture right there. They are stuck in there like sardines. You can't even squeeze down the middle of these cars. But you know what? You just keep piling them in and piling them in. Really should be having chickens in the chicken coop, but there's no chickens in this chicken coop. But you can tell that chickens were in there. But it's just, he stuck these cars in there. He was smart enough to stick them in there. Not all of them were super rare cars. That's a 4-door Chevelle right there. That's nothing but the parts on that car would be mind-boggling. And again, you can see there's no rust on these cars. That was the craziest thing about seeing these cars. There's absolutely no rust on them. And they're all untouched survivor cars. For the most part, none of these cars have been touched. They all look like they might have had a little bit of damage. And, you know, who knows how he got the cars. You don't like to ask questions. You just want to, you're so happy to be there. That's one of those Volkswagen things. That thing looks like, I think that thing's pretty rare, you know. I'm not sure about those cars. But, you know, as you're looking at these cars, you got to remember something. This guy was genius enough to actually stick these cars in here. Is there like Hemi CUDAs and stuff? No. Look at that GTO convertible. But there is some really cool cars in here. And as I said, you can look at them. They're all stock. They're all untouched for the most part. And they're all pretty solid. They look like they just came off the street like 40 years ago. If I remember right, that was a Challenger RT convertible. There's some cool stuff in there. It really was a good mix for just about anybody. There were Mopars and Plymouths, Chevrolets, Fords. There was everything. But as you can see, those things are packed in there like sardines, and they've been in there for a really long, long time. So here's the one cool thing about this Tales from the Bush. These pictures are fairly recent. I have verified that those cars are actually still in those buildings. Not going to tell you if they're for sale or not. All I can do is tell you that those cars are definitely still in those buildings. This is really pictures from 2 of the chicken coops. There was another 2 more. So we're saying, give or take a few, I believe it was 489 cars in the 4 chicken coops. But there's another 500 or 600 cars outside of these chicken coops. Also very cool cars sitting outside there. A lot of these pictures are repeat because, you know, I could only get there's only so many pictures you can get. Nice CUDA sitting there. And, you know, he really doesn't want people poking around in there. And I don't blame the guy. When you put this much time and effort and energy into it to put these cars away, you don't just let people come in and take pictures and stuff. These are legit pictures. They're not modified. They're not edited. I blurred out a couple of the license plates so you wouldn't figure out where they are, because I don't want people showing up at this guy's place thinking that they can do whatever they want with the cars. But at the end of the day, this guy stuck all these cars in 4 chicken coops, and who does that? Who's smart enough to do that? Look at that. Oh man, that Corvette, that thing is nice right there. And you can tell, look at all the marks and the paint coming off it and stuff. That's no restoration shop beauty queen. That's looks like to be an original car. Just look at that, just stacked in there. Look at those roof and the VW, crazy VW bugs, and there's a Cutlass 442 there, or 442. And like I said, the thing that's great about this is that this guy was smart enough to stick these cars in there. There's Mach 1. Looks like a Challenger beside it. 442 on the other side. They're just everything. Everything you can want. It's like walking into a candy store, but when you're an adult and you love these cars. God, it was so cool. And what we got there, that's a Chevelle, SS Chevelle sitting there. It looks like it's an SS. Like that steering wheel and stuff. Who knows? I'm not too sure. Super solid looking car. A little bit of surface rust, but good God, man. What a place to start. Look at that Corvette. That Corvette's had seen better days, but you know, those fiberglass bodies, they don't rust out. But look at all the chicken poop on those cars and bird poop and the ground and the pole rotting out. And God, man. And, you know I'm showing a few of these pictures, but I don't have many pictures of this stash. But I wanted to make sure it got out there that, you know what, these cars are still out there. These pictures are relatively recent. Within the past 5 years, the cars are there. 442 convertible. Looks like that's in a bit of a nicer part. Almost looks like it's pavement on the ground there. I can't remember. It was pavement. Look at just, hey, give it to the guy. He stuck these cars in there. Oh, VW Bug. That's an earlier VW Bug by the looks of it. But look in the background. See how empty that building is back there? It's nothing. There's so much space in these buildings. You're putting 10,000 chickens into these buildings. There's a shot of the part outside there. Look at it, just cars piled in there, parts piled in there. The guy loved cars, man, and he was smart enough to stick these things away. Some people get mad because the guy's just letting them sit and rot there, but, look at that thing. Well, oh, man, that looks like a time capsule right there. When they painted those cars back then, they put like a ½ inch thick paint on there, a lacquer paint. That paint wasn't coming off. Still shiny, too. There's the outside. You can see that chicken coop, how long it is. That's just a little beginning of it. The Chevelle sitting there, a couple Chevelles. But, at the end of the day, it's still cool to walk around and see cars like this sitting just about everywhere. But, like I said, these cars are still there. And I know in the comments everybody's going to want to know where they are. And it'd be slim pickings if this brother is going to tell you where the car is, because it's no go on if they're for sale or not. But let's just enjoy these cars sitting there like this, and maybe one day the person will come forward and say, let's get these cars sold. Because there's a thing about collecting them, and there's a thing about actually doing something with them. There's a lot of people out there that would love to have a car out of here. I know, like that one right there, I'd love to have that car. Yeah, copper gold. Not too many of them were that color, I don't think. Looks like the original color, too. And there's some cool cars that are sitting out in that field. I blew that picture up and stretched it out. There's a bunch of cars in there, a bunch of Cutlasses, 442 and Cutlasses, and some Novas and stuff like that. I mean, there's just stuff lying around all over the place. Man, look at that VW Bug. I always liked those VW Bugs. My uncle had one when I was a kid. It was an old clown car. You could drive it both ways. I never could figure the car out, but he used to have fun with it with people. And look at that GTO right there. That's hardcore GTO right there. And look at how solid the car is. Super, super solid cars. No rust on any of these things. That was the thing that really surprised me. Don't forget, if you want, share this video with your friends and stuff, because it's not something you see every day. How often are you going to see something like that every day? I mean, who does this? You guys can call a person whatever you want for doing it, but I call the guy a genius, because who else really, like I said, who does this? This is great, man. Oh, there's the back end of that one Chevelle. That does look like possibly an SS. But look at how close these cars are together. You couldn't put a piece of paper into half of them. But he got them in between the poles, and he got them all set up, and got them stuck in this building. You got to remember the commitment that comes with doing this is mind-boggling, because some of these cars don't run. The tires are flat. You got to push them in the building. There's a lot of work that's involved with this. So if the guy did decide to sell these cars, and wanted some good money for him, you can't blame the guy, because I mean, most other people didn't do this, but he did it. So I guess I could give a moral of the story that if you're wondering if these cars are still out there, by God, they are still out there. These pictures were taken, I think it was less than 5 years ago, and every one of these cars is still in there. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but they're still out there. So don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. These cars are still out there. They're just getting a little bit harder to find, but they're definitely still out there. And please keep in mind that I am a consulting firm, so if you're not too familiar with what you're buying or what you're looking at, but you really want to collect a car, let's do it. Let's get you set up. But you need some help, you need some protection, make sure you're not going to get burnt. I am a consulting firm, so I mean, I don't have to go look at the car. If you got pictures of it, I can take a look at the pictures and give you a general idea if you're going to get burnt or not. Look at that Dart sitting out there and a Roadrunner sitting beside it, or a GTX sitting beside it. Well, like I said, I'm Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope get lots of likes and shares, because it was really fun doing it. And stick around next time. We'll have some more stuff for you soon. Thanks for coming by.